that is that for 2017. First, I just want to talk about how 2017's been for the channel. Something that means a lot to me is that this year I finally cracked the 1,000 subscribers target. Doesn't sound like much for a lot of people, but for me, just a really good showing that what I'm doing is liked and appreciated. All I can really say is thank you so very much to everyone who really helped spread the word and helped get me there. It just means so much to reach that target this year and to keep going above and beyond. It felt like it was lingering for a while at like 900 odd, but very lucky little push happened and I cracked 1,000 and I'm really done happy about it. And so with that little bit out of the way, however, I really just want to do one list, which is the top 10 videos I've viewed for the channel this year. One of the things I'm really happy with is that they all were episodes that I filmed this year. In past years, some older episodes have seemed to have had a bit of traction there. And I'm really chuffed as a result. So, going from number 10 upwards, number 10 was the interview I did with Ant over his Little Pumpkin Peril preview. Was really happy to do that one, and I'm really happy that one got in the list. My look at the physical side of 64 carts, the second era, which is the those for the GS and homebrew releases, was number 9. Then for number 8, it was my review of Alien. The look at the 64 and Spectrum take on the movie, that tactical grittish, strategic one. Then for number 7 was the video in which I checked out the MSX homebrew game Ghost. Really fun platformer, exploration platformer. And it's a bit of a bummer it's only available physically at the moment, but it's worth checking out if you do have an MSX and do get physical ones. And keeping on that sort of new game trend, my review of Galencia came in at number 6, and that's one nice little short punchy review that did really well. Number 5 was the first of the hardware videos I did this year, which is when I checked out the Easy Flash 3 cartridge. That one was sort of a big test for a lot of things. It was mostly filmed just after I did a gear upgrade, and that was really, really nice to see it come out well. Number 4, and this is the newest one on the list here, and it's my look at Luftbrowsers. I'm really surprised at how that's done in terms of just traction over the last few weeks. Third place is the top 5 games of 2016 vlog. I have a few ideas on how I want to make that a little different for this year, for 2017's list. And second place was what I call the most monumental piece I did on the channel, which is a review of the original Metal Gear. That was quite challenging on a lot of levels, and very happy it got a lot of attention. And finally, and unsurprisingly I guess, the most watched video for the year on my channel was when I looked at the Ultimate 2 Plus in August. It's just how surprising how far above everything else it was. So of that list, I'm impressively chuffed that a lot of videos in different kinds of styles did really well, at least for me, so to speak. I kind of like covering games on multiple platforms. That's been something I've been trying to do a bit more of over the last few years. And of course, interviews and hardware stuff, again, different kinds of things that came down really well, especially the hardware looks. And that is something I would like to continue with in 2018. With the channel stuff out of the way, I wanted to get on and have a quick little chat about some collection goals. Going into 2017, a lot of my collection goals, the stuff I was really after was hardware related rather than software related. In particular, I really wanted to hunt down a few particular systems. And through the course of events this year, it did take me a lot of the year to do it. But through the course of the year, I was actually able to do that. And those, of course, to start off with, was the Humble Vic 20. The Vic is, I know a lot of people probably think it's a fairly primitive little machine, but it is the precursor to the 64, which is, of course, the machine that means the most to me. And it's great to sort of see where you can sort of see a lot of developers cutting their teeth and sort of getting used to things you can do there. One of the other things that has really impressed me with the Vic is just the state of the homebrew scene on it. It doesn't get the kind of publicity you'd get with the 64 or the Spectrum or the MSX, but it's some very spectacular little tiny games put together well. I really, really want to go through some of those releases and do some videos on them. I think they're some really cool works that are worth checking out, and it's something something I'm kind of really impressed by. And hopefully you are too. I'd like to see what you think about that. I mean, in general, I haven't got many Vic games at the moment, so I haven't done much more than the initial videos I did when in September. But it's something I'd like to try and do more of this year. Try and get some more Vic games and try and cover those on the channel. Also, at long last, I find quite a particular beast that I've been after a while, one of the line, and that, of course, is the Apple IIc. The Vic was actually just a very fortuitous auction find. I literally ran one of my eBay searches on a Friday morning. It was a Friday morning when I was actually working at home, so it sort of came up, grabbed it straight away. The Apple IIc was a bit of a longer journey. I went with some friends for a haul from a friend's friend several years ago. The 2C was part of it. It wasn't working at the time, so I didn't bring it down home with me, because this was actually an interstate trip to sort it out. But actually it was 2016. That TLC was finally taken care of. It was working, and last year, a bit of a lucky trip meant I was able to go up and grab it and bring it home. And it's been really fun down the collection. I've been playing around with it a lot. I've only done the one video, which is Alien Downpour. And I've got a few other Apple II games since then, some of which hopefully I'll do some videos on, and hopefully it'll be part of some comparison stuff as well. It's also pending a couple of mods to just make running some games a bit easier. I think this will tie into something else I want to do, but I'll talk a bit more about that later. Some other things I'd like to do regarding that. But there is another. There's been a machine on my list which I think I've kind of hinted at being one on the list for quite a while. It certainly is a machine that isn't a great successful machine. It doesn't really get a lot of love in general, I think, outside of a very small niche of fans. And it's sort of one of those ones where finding a local version, I don't really have space here to run a step-down transformer with all my gear. And anyone who sort of follows me outside of just the video side of things will know I kind of teased this when it arrived back in October. Just a shot of its box, the shipping box, which is a very, very well-packed box. It took an Asia hunt down. And I finally got it in October. And it's another Apple machine. It's the Apple IIgs, which is a machine that's kind of a hybrid of it's basically sort of the next leap of the classic Apple IIs. The big thing is that it's got the GS is graphics and sound, so it's got more powerful graphics hardware and sound hardware, along with the classic gear, and it's sort of halfway between a classic Apple II and a Mac. And there are actually machines we had in school when I was growing up, so early 90s-ish, and I haven't really talked about it until now because the machine works, I can play games on it, but the big problem is I haven't gotten it to fit into my capture pipeline yet. I think that's the best way of putting it. Its video signal is very fiddly compared to other machines, really out of anything I've owned. So getting a video signal into the FrameMeister and my capture gear has been very interesting, and that's something I'm still working on. There's a couple of other upgrades that I'm interested in. One of those I'm on a list for pre-ordering it. The other ones I don't know when they're coming. So hopefully as this year progresses, I'll actually be able to talk about that system and cover some games on it. I'm very excited to do that because I've not played around with it as much as I'd like, because I've sort of just been fiddling rather than sitting down and actually enjoying some games on it. Now let's get on to really the big thing here. What are the plans for 2018? Suffice to say, I'm very much a believer in the adage of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I see no real reason to deviate from the current schedule, which is new videos go up Friday night for me in Australia. That's late morning, early afternoon, depending on what part of Europe you're in. And of course, fairly early in the morning for American viewers. This has sort of been the flow that's worked, really, because the bulk of my viewers are from Europe, Western and Central Europe, and so that really is sort of the optimal point of the day. Despite messing around with things, I messed around a lot in 2017 with schedules. At least the early part of the year, this is really when it's working for me. More likely to get the interactions, more likely to get discussion, and it just seems to be the time that works better for me compared to other times. And it's worth talking about schedules in general because the reason I run the channel to a fixed schedule is, for me, it's actually less pressure to produce. If I sit down, I usually only get a chance to do filming on weekends. I'm lucky at the moment that I've taken this week off work to recover after New Year, but being able to just film the weekend, schedule it for next week, it makes it really easy to keep that consistent flow. But it also helps me put aside time to watch other people's videos. And in parts this year, I've sort of bounced off some, because some people have been just producing really long things, and a lot of things that's been hard to just track in general. But because I'm limited in time, so if others keep, like, by keeping to a schedule, it means I know I've sort of time boxed when I should be working on videos, and also time boxed when I can tune in to see what other people are doing. So it lets me do that, and I think that lets me control how much time I put into work. And I think the general quality of what I've been doing this year has been much higher as a result. In terms of things, as always, videos are really going to fall down to one of two kinds of styles. Unscripted, chilled, sort of, whether they're Let's Play videos where I'm just playing through a game and discussing aspects of it while I'm playing it, or more heavily scripted, controlled pieces, such as sort of more focused reviews. And those unscripted pieces really work better for smaller games, or for games that really are just, those winners, let's face it, a little more prudent. I mean, getting Luftrausers out early was something that worked out really well for me, to be blatantly honest. As for the more scripted pieces, they work better for games that are more detailed. I mean, the runtime of a normal episode to cover something like Metal Gear just wouldn't have worked. You wouldn't have made it that far into the game. You wouldn't have really seen why that game is so special. And RPG stuff, I've really, like, after the video I put out with Ant trying to play Blood Witch, we both actually want to go back to that game, but I want to go back to several other RPG games, and they're games that can take quite a long time to play, and it's really good to just sort of have that script to condense my thoughts down into something a little more viewable. And following on from that, it's worth mentioning, if you really are only following the channel for C64 games, I will not be backing away from games on other platforms. I really enjoy looking at those other computers in my collection. I like checking out the games to see what made them special, but also how they took on other games that I'm familiar with from other machines. I think it's a lot of this cross-pollination. I think is a great thing. We can learn sort of more about how these games function, how they fit, and what other machines were capable of. It also lets me do some roundups. I can focus on stuff. In fact, one thing I think I want to do, especially getting the Apple IIs made me think about this, is doing a little series on videos where I've covered games in the past that were on the Apple II, but do some sort of comparison stuff with those original versions. I covered, say, something like Stellar 7. It was originally an Apple game. And I covered the 64 conversion. So it'd be good to sort of do comparison stuff like that. And it also lets me go back, those videos are like 4 years old, some of them. So I'd like to think I've got a lot more critique experience, and now I'll be able to capture off real hardware. And it'll give me a way to revisit some of those really early episodes on the channel, which I think surely should be a little more interesting to everyone. Of course, it's worth noting, based on how the hardware stuff's done, I would like to try and do more of it this year. I'd like to expand, doing peripherals where appropriate, with also some system reviews. They're going to require a fair bit of work, so I don't even know. They're probably going to be multi-month projects, if anything. They're going to be harder to schedule, but I hope that they do, when they do come out, they're ones that are appreciated as well. They do take a bit more work than the average game review, just because there's so much more detail. And one thing that's important for me is really wanting to talk about how they fit into modern lifestyle. If you're going to go and get real hardware, there should be things that you probably want to be aware of in terms of actually using them. Now, the last thing I really want to just touch on very quickly before I sign off is just talking about what's up for the next couple of weeks. This Friday, which is the 5th, it's going to be the last collab video I filmed with Ant last year. It's another one. It's actually my favourite of the ones we did. I think we got into a lot of really cool talk about the game, about its mechanics. So I'm hoping you all enjoy that one when it goes out. I'm really excited for it. The week after, on the 12th, Series 6 will be back in play, and it's going to be looking at probably one of the most high-profile 64 releases over the holidays. The next few weeks after that is also going to be a bunch of 64 releases that came out over the holiday, Christmas, New Year period. That's just because I'm actually having to film all those videos in advance. Like, I'm going to be filming them before I go back to work because, quite frankly, my day job has changed a fair bit over the last few months, and I have a pretty intense January for it. So with that, I'm really excited for 2018 as I am. I know 2017 was hard. For me, it was more emotionally challenging. Like, I had a lot of production problems that I really want to improve off this week. So do let me know. Let me know what your favourite, out of all the episodes I produced last year, what your favourite was. I just want to know for sake to know what I should be doing better. But also, I hope you're excited for those videos in the next couple of weeks, and January in general. As always, please do click the like button if you enjoyed the video. It really helps just get it out there on the the magic algorithms. Do subscribe if you've not already. Again, nice healthy viewer base is always a great thing. And of course, with that, thank you very much for watching. Have a happy new year, and I'll catch you all next time.